Howdy. Welcome to Guided Golf Range Sessions, where we walk through specific range sessions that you can either follow live or just follow the structure of the session. This practice structure is one of the main things amateurs overlook. Most people just dump a bucket over, they start blindly hitting balls, and then by the end of the bucket, you almost feel like you've gotten worse. This is one of my favorite range sessions, probably my most used, and it's a very well-rounded range session, and it'll cover the whole full range of the bag. This is a range session that's very scoring focused because we'll do a lot of work with our wedges. If you want to get better at scoring, you really need to get just masterful with your wedge game. And I just don't think people put enough time into their wedges. So this session is very wedge focused. Like all the sessions we're going to do on this channel, everything is based on proportion, so it doesn't really matter what size bucket you get. I use a small just for time purposes, but if you get a large, you'll just have more reps. So how we're going to do this is we're going to split our bucket up into portions. And I like to call this batching, and it really helps me to keep focused throughout a bucket rather than just dumping it over and just rapid fire hitting balls. That's an easy way to just lose focus, and by the end of the bucket you forgot what even happened. And it's like when you start driving and then you forget that you're driving and then you snap out of it. So to start out, we're going to dump half the bucket out, and then you can put the bucket away for a little bit. And with the balls that you've dumped out, I want you to split those up into 3 different portions. And these are going to be 3 different wedges that we're going to hit. Now, I like to make a few like full, loose, just relaxed swings before I start hitting balls. I like to envision like Fred Couples swing when I'm doing this, but it's just to loosen up the body. But once you're loose and warmed up, so something that people struggle with is partial wedges. And when you get out to the course and you get left with that awkward 40-yarder, a lot of people just don't know what to do and how to hit this shot. So this is something that we need to actively practice. So we have 3 portions on the mat, and I want you to pick 3 yardages to practice. And it doesn't really matter what they are. It doesn't matter what kind of wedge you use. You can change up wedges if you want. The idea, though, is that within 100 yards, I want you to pick 3 distances that are gapped decently apart that you can practice. So if your range has a specific target, like 30 yards, use that. The distance isn't as important as just teaching your body how to feel these partial shots. So for example, I'm using my 56 degree for all these wedge shots, and as a full shot it goes about 95 yards, but in my 3 portions here I'm going to go for 35 yards, 60 yards, and 75 yards. And that splits up 100 into thirds, so I have a shot that covers each third of my wedge shot. And for this routine, you can use an alignment stick if you want. You don't need to. The most important thing is that you're picking targets and you're actively trying to hit at those targets. That's the most important thing. If you want an alignment stick, feel free to use one. If not, not a big deal. The only other thing I'll add before we move on is when you're working with wedges, like, it's all about precision. Like if you're trying to crush the ball, all you're going to do is you're going to add spin. It's going to get lost up in the wind, or you're going to have too much of a hit instinct and you're going to hit behind the ball. Wedges are about precision. It's all about just taking assertive but smooth swings and making sure that you're getting crisp contact. So if you're following this live, go ahead and hit pause and hit the wedges, and I'll fast forward through me hitting the wedges, and then we'll move on to the next half of the bucket. So with the remaining half of our bucket, we're going to split it up into 4 quarters. So we're going to have 4 different portions with the remaining balls. 1 for 9-iron, 1 for 7-iron, 1 for 5-iron, and then your driver. And as you go through this, it's okay if you change your targets. It's okay if you hit different shots. This specific range session is not really about being heavy block practice. It's just about committing to targets when you hit to them, and not just getting lost in the shuffle of dumping a bucket over and just hitting rapid fire balls. Especially as you get into these full swings, if there's anything you're working on, it's okay to work on them. I would recommend sticking to 1 or 2 things max. I think a lot of people tend to just try to do way too much at once. If there's a swing changes you're making, stick to 1 or 2 main focuses and really commit to just practicing the reps, and then do some practice routines in between each ball, and just don't get caught in the wild goose chase of working on 10 things at once. do one or two things and always bring your focus back to just hitting the center of the face. So if you're doing this live, go ahead and pause, and I'm going to fast forward through my irons, and when you're done with your irons, we'll move on to the last portion, which is the driver. All right, so we're on to our last portion, which is the driver. And in this section, I want you to really pick a target, but pick targets that make a fairway, and try to imagine hitting this fairway every time. It's good to have both a start line target and then a end goal fairway target, because this will show you what your miss tendency is. Are you likely to miss left, right, whatever your miss may be? When you have an initial start line target and then an end goal target, it'll start to paint a picture of what your miss is. And then when you learn your miss, that's when you can really start to play this and use this on the course. And with the driver, I like to dedicate 3 to 5 balls. Nothing crazy, but 3 to 5 balls just for basically trying to rip at it. Basically, it's like a speed training drill. Now, I will say this is something that you need to decide if you're comfortable with or not. The last thing we want to do is get hurt. Health is number one. So if you feel comfortable with this, I do think it's a good idea to just learn how to swing fast. I think only doing 3 to 5 balls, it's been kind of crazy for me how much this has helped over the course of time. Just teaching your body what it feels like to swing fast. When you start to do this, it'll start to seep into your normal swing. But that being said, if you have back, knee problems or whatever, don't hurt yourself, don't push it. And after you're done with driver, that's it for the range session. Let me know if this has been helpful. Let me know if there's anything else I can do in these videos to make them better. There aren't really any videos to go off of as a template, so I mean, I'm kind of just making this up as I go. So please let me know if there's anything else I can do to make this video and process better for you. And yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Leave a like and subscribe.